There are 31 paintings in Minecraft, and I spent a week learning how to be an art critic so I could judge them with maximum theatrical disdain. Some are masterpieces, others are crimes against pixels, but all of them, yes, even that one, are hanging on your walls like you meant to put them there. Welcome to the Gallery of Accidental Brilliance, curated by a cryptically Swedish genius, hung by an unpaid skeleton, and reviewed by me, Wizard Keen, sorcerer of subtle judgment. Let the tour begin, and please, don't lick the wither. Albanian, a work that dares to ask, what if the pinnacle of human emotion was achieved just next to a bush? Here we have a man, possibly Albanian, possibly just cold. He wears a fez with the kind of confidence usually reserved for stage magicians and Victorian frauds. Behind him, a house. Not a mansion, not a castle, a house. Middle class, slightly resentful, possibly bought with emeralds and regrets. And to the side, a bush. Not blooming, not dying, just existing, like the rest of us. This piece is about placement, about the liminal space between man and shrubbery. It's a portrait of indecision, of saying, yes, I built a shelter, but should I also have trimmed the hedge first? I've stared at this painting for 12 hours, and I'm no wiser, which of course means it's art. Here we stand before Target Successfully Bombed, a title that really says it all, doesn't it? No ambiguity, no metaphor, just boom. This is not a painting, this is a confession. We see here an overhead map from a parallel universe where architects hate you and stairs lead to nowhere. It's based loosely, flimsily, on something called Counter-Strike, a game beloved by people with very fast fingers and very short tempers. And what do we see? Gravel, grime, possibly the remains of someone who was definitely camping at the respawn. What makes it art, you ask? It's the restraint. The restraint of depicting absolute carnage from a safe, detached perspective. It says, we bombed it, yes, but we also had the decency to frame it tastefully. A triumph of modern violence hung politely between the pot plants. Ah yes, kebab med tre pepperoni. Swedish for kebab with 3 peppers, which incidentally is also Swedish for a terrible idea at 2 a.m. What we see here is food as drama. The kebab stands tall, upright, proud and defiant. 3 green chilies hover like disapproving judges, ready to assess your gastrointestinal bravery. Is it a meal? Is it a weapon? Is it avant-garde apology from someone who forgot your birthday? It refuses to say. The genius of this painting lies in its refusal to be interpreted. It exists in the culinary uncanny valley, somewhere between edible and regret. Historians have debated whether this painting is a celebration of nourishment or a dire warning from the Mojang canteen. All I know is I made the mistake of hanging this above my bed and haven't slept since. What's coming next isn't just weird, it's potted. We've seen a man in a fez, a tactical kebab, and a polite explosion, but now we descend into the realm of philosophical houseplants, and a rabbit so profoundly disturbed it could write a memoir. Stay close, don't blink, and whatever you do, do not tap the painting labelled Wither. It taps back. This is paradisträd. Translated, it means paradise tree, which is ironic because nothing here looks remotely pleased to be alive. Observe 2 houseplants, potted with the care of a mildly distracted monk. Identical, equidistant, emotionally unavailable. They sit on a table, or perhaps an altar, offering themselves up to the gods of interior design. Are they real? Plastic? Spiritual placeholders for a love that never was? We just don't know. And more importantly, we're not supposed to. This is Scandinavian minimalism at its most punishing. a whisper of life encased in the aesthetic of a dentist's waiting room, and yet somehow utterly riveting. One plant leans slightly left, the other slightly right. The tension, the conflict, a civil war unfolding, leaf by leaf. This is not a still life, this is a standoff. Behold, Wasteland, a haunting tableau where even the clouds appear to have packed up and relocated somewhere with better soil and a functioning pub. We are presented with a ruined vista, earth, not so much scorched as thoroughly disappointed in itself. Vegetation missing, hope thinning, dust showing up early and staying far too long. But then there it is, in the foreground, a rabbit, not hopping, not nibbling, simply present, frozen in the same way one might freeze upon seeing an X in the produce aisle. The rabbit is the painting's anchor, a lone creature suspended in a kind of silent metaphysical shrug. Is it prey? Is it a prophet? Or simply trying to remember whether it left the burrow open and the stove on? Now, critics argue that this work comments on the environmental collapse. I suggest it's the visual equivalent of someone attempting landscape architecture during a personal breakdown. And what makes it all the more magnificent is its starkness. One view, one mood, one rabbit radiating the quiet despair of someone who's just realised they've respawned in the wrong biome. It's not merely a painting, it's a cry for help in wool canvas form. And honestly, I relate. Here we are, face to face. Bonjour, Monsieur Creebet. It's a recreation, or perhaps a parody, of Gustave Courbet's famous painting, The Meeting. Although in this version, neither man seems particularly thrilled to be meeting anyone. Look closely. Two hikers encountering one another in the wilderness. They both have walking sticks. They both have beards. And they both have opinions. And not one of them is backing down. This is masculinity at its most civilized and most emotionally constipated. Their greeting, if we can call it that, is loaded, a single bonjour carrying centuries of unspoken judgment. Nice boots, says one. Nice intimidation of my boots, replies the other. It's not a conversation, it's a duel conducted with facial hair and passive tones. And in the background, a horse, not impressed and possibly embarrassed to be involved. This painting isn't just about two men on a path, it's about every awkward social encounter where someone has clearly stolen your wizard's robes design and pretends it's coincidence. Magnificent, petty, and timeless. You may be wondering, is this still an art gallery? Is this a cry for help? Should I perhaps leave? No, you stay. Because what's coming next is fruit and fog and a man on a horse who frankly should have turned back 6 blocks ago. You think you've seen odd? We're merely in the appetizer course of absurdity. Now brace yourself, here comes the entree and it's slightly overcooked. Here we have The Pool, a title that suggests calm, recreation, perhaps a splash. What we receive instead is geometry in crisis. The water is perfectly cuboid, not flowing, not rippling, just there, contained, suspiciously so, like a secret or a bribe. And floating within it, figures, peaceful, motionless, not swimming, not moving, simply hovering with unsettling intent. Their joy is undeniable, but also deeply inconvenient. This is not how water works. This is how dreams behave after cheese. The walls of the pool appear structural but also symbolic, perhaps a society's failure to make a decent changing room. There are no ladders, no shallow end, no logical point of entry. They simply are in it, as if born there or teleported by a very relaxed cult. Critics have argued this is a depiction of freedom. I argue it's a health and safety violation wrapped in a daydream. There's serenity here, yes, but also the quiet dread of knowing you can never leave without breaking the illusion, or the fourth wall. It is, in short, the least helpful spa I've ever seen, and yet I would absolutely book a weekend there. Creebet. At first glance, it's idyllic. Mountains rolling like sighs, a calm lake, soft colours gently arranged. A small photo rests on the window ledge. A memory, perhaps, or a forgotten postcard from someone who's left in a hurry. But then, there, just behind the glass, a creeper. Silent, still, green in a way that suggests envy, detonation, and poorly managed boundaries. He isn't glaring, no, he's studying. Like a disappointed school inspector who's just discovered you've replaced their curriculum with cake. This painting is about interruption, about serenity, quietly sabotaged. The moment when everything seems lovely until it isn't. A creeper at the window gently whispering, "Knock, knock, it's consequences." It's chilling, it's brilliant, and I would hang it directly above my anxiety. Sunset_dense. Yes, with the underscore, because this isn't just a sunset. It's a classified digital mood, a moment so emotionally compressed it required typographic separation. We're shown a mountain range, low, exhausted, like it's been holding in a sigh since alpha release. Above it, a thick orange sky slouches westward, swollen with regret and possibly soup. There are no players here, no mobs, no torches, no drama. Just rocks and sky in the final stages of emotional burnout. This is not a gentle goodbye. This is a sunset that resigns. It doesn't lower itself behind the hills. It throws in its notice, sets its Slack status to offline, and walks into the fog without a backwards glance. And the underscore? Well, the underscore is everything. It's the dash of suppressed rage. It's the pause before the breakdown. It's the formatting choice of a world that's had enough. You don't just look at a sunset underscore dance. You download its mood into your bones. And so we stand here, bathed in its sullen amber, wondering, is this beauty? Is this code? Is this relatable? Yes. Yes to all three. Now press F3 and weep. Well, that concludes part 1. We've survived 600 shades of orange, a rabbit in crisis, and a social interaction so tense it should have come with subtitles. And that was just the beginning. In part 2, we'll encounter a fruit bowl with identity issues, a bust engulfed in fire, and a skeleton who thinks he's the main character. So, subscribe now, because missing part 2 would be a grave artistic error, possibly even cultural vandalism. Like the video if you too have stared into a sunset and whispered, I'm done. And tell me in the comments which painting gave you the strongest urge to uninstall Minecraft and take up interpretive dance. I'll see you in the next one, where things get more abstract, explosive, and surprisingly flammable.